Shannon, is LaVar out of line for these latest comments?
Of course, he's absolutely out of line. The problem that I have is that he lied on national television. He sat right in that chair over there, Skip, and says, going to the Lakers, my son goes to the Lakers, he's done with it. I've done him. I brought him this far. He's going to the Lakers, Magic Johnson.
He did.
The greatest point guard to ever live. What can I teach him?
Yep.
My job is done. Hey, take Zoe over. He can't keep his mouth shut. Just like that article said, I don't know if it was Sports Illustrated, but what the coach said, he would tell the players one thing, and LaVar Ball would go right behind his back and tell him to do something else. Oh, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. Now you're getting an opportunity to see who and what LaVar Ball. Two things can be true. I support LaVar Ball, his ability to try to be an entrepreneur. He wanted to do his thing with the shoe game. He didn't get the help or didn't have the insight or the input from Nike or Adidas or Under Armour. So he said, you know what? I'm going to build my own shoe. Hey, I'm jumping on both feet, Skip. Let me get me a pair of those things. When they get here, okay, fine, I'm good with it. But you're going too far. And I've said this several times. I played professional sports for 14 years. Skip, when a parent, a family member, a significant other, or someone close to said player says something, people assume, be it fair or unfair, especially those that's in the locker room, that is coming from said player that's in that locker room. It's going to cause a problem. And he doesn't get it. This is not about, no. How does what he's saying make Lonzo better? You can't talk your son into being a better player. He's going to be what he's going to be. Now, you can get all these likes and mentions and all that other stuff, and a lot of people love what you're doing, LaVar.
They do.
But there's a problem with it, and you just don't seem to see it. Now, it was reported that the boys were supposed to go with the team this weekend. The team wouldn't allow cameras. The boys didn't show up. Now, I said, as soon as this Facebook thing's wrapped, the boys going to be back here in the States. I'm going to stand by that. Skip, I don't get this. He's turning Lonzo. Now, maybe there's some truth to it. Maybe there's not. But what do you think the players, they're looking at Lonzo like, man, I can't tell you anything.
That is correct.
We just got rid of a guy that couldn't keep his mouth shut. He in Brooklyn now.
Yeah.
And this is the same thing with you. Your father keep yakking and yakking and yakking. It's always somebody else's responsibility. Now, he didn't have a problem. See, what you're starting to see, as long as things are going Lonzo Ball and his son's way, you will not hear a word from LaVar. But the moment it does not go in his favor, coach said, nah, Melo ain't shooting 50 times. Okay, come on home, son, homeschool. You go to China, you steal something, you're going to be suspended indefinitely. Heard Jello on television, where they could have given me some, determination of how long the suspension was going to be. Well, you suspended until we tell you can come back. You should have thought about that before you tried to take something that didn't belong to you. Well, you not try to, you accomplished what you did. But Skip, we just had, what was it, 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, that they had a conversation with Lonzo, LaVar, he said it. Yeah, they talked to me, but I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to say what I want to say. At some point in time, this is not going to end well, Skip, because do you believe Lonzo Ball will be as good as Boogie Cousins? Because Sacramento got rid of Boogie Cousins, and Boogie Cousins right now is 24-14.
Yep.
So at some point in time, this distraction that's outside of the locker room becomes so much of a nuisance. Let somebody else deal with it. But I'm trying to figure out who wants to deal with it, Skip. Because we're talking about it not only because mainly because it's the Lakers and because of his son. And LaVar wants to live his life through his sons because his sporting career did not turn out like he wanted it to. Don't give me this bull jive. He's so proud of his son. Hell, 98, 99% of the parents are proud of their kids, but they don't carry on like this. This is unacceptable behavior. I don't care if he builds a $10 billion shoe brand. The way he's carrying on, the way he's acting is unacceptable.
Yep. All that is extremely well said. So bottom line, what's LaVar going to do next? Pull Lonzo off the Lakers and take him to Lithuania? Seriously, is that where we're heading with this? And I got to, before I launch into the question Joy asked us, I got to get this off my chest. I have defended LaVar, sort of hung on and defended LaVar, because I love the fact that he has been a good father to these kids. Now, you can argue he's being too good a father to the kids, but so many of these kids didn't have a father. I didn't have a father at home. A lot of people I know didn't have a father, so I admired that part of it, and I admired the fact that LaVar Ball had the guts to try to beat the sneaker establishment at its own game that it sort of owns. And yet, this Better Business, as you said, the other BBB brand and the one that you can't mess around with,
the
right?
original Triple B.
Yes, the Better Business Bureau. Now we have the report that it has given LaVar's Big Baller brand an F, a flat out at the worst it can give, because they've had 41 negative reviews, 0 positive, and 33 formal complaints of customers who either didn't get their orders or got the wrong items in their orders. That's just no go. Can't do it. You have to play the game the right way if you're going to beat the establishment at its own game.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
And you did get.
I did get the shoes.
You got yours, but you're Shannon Sharp, and a lot of Joe Smiths out there, I guess, are getting messed around. So it looks like LaVar is failing on the Better Business Bureau end of this deal, right? So now we get back to Joy's question. I slept on this. I did a Facebook Live about it last night. It just sort of tears my guts out because you know and I know that I do love me some Lonzo Ball. And the reason I love the kid is because he's the flip side of the father. He is unselfish to a fault. He seems to have high character, for all I can gather. We had him on the show once, and he always says and seems to do the right thing.
Correct.
And I still believe in him as a player, though I've said many, many times, too many times on this show, where are you, Lonzo? You seem unplugged to me. You seem like you're not into it on a nightly basis. I don't see the energy. I don't see the engagement. I don't see the aggressiveness on a minute-to-minute basis. And I've wondered about it, but I still defend him because he's still averaging 10 points and 7 rebounds and 7 assists, not what people expected, but still decent. He still ranks number 1 on this team in the defensive rating of individuals. He's number 1, and he still leads this team in rebounds and obviously in assists. Okay, so all those I cling to, even though I can't say that he's been a big hit because he has not been a big hit.
Correct.
So, is there always some truth in things that LaVar Ball says publicly? Yes, seriously. There's always some truth, enough that makes him the lightning rod that he is, because he's willing to say or do what no one else will say or do.
Correct.
And he's not a complete fool. He's not, because if he were a fool, we would have all dismissed him long ago and said, okay, that's enough of that, right? But his son is the 2nd pick in the draft, or was, and I got to tell you, from my heart, I don't love the way Luke Walton has coached this team. I think this team is far better than its record. And it really struggled without Lonzo because it lost 6 in a row, and it had lost 9 in a row. And I'll be honest, I don't love the way Luke Walton has handled Lonzo, because from the start, he has been hard on Lonzo, but you could argue, I'm open to arguing, hearing your side, he should have been hard on him because he's been a terrible shooting slump. And so he was yanking him quickly. I don't know what this substitution pattern is, but mid-first quarter, usually Lonzo's out. So he kind of breaks a sweat, and then he's on the bench. And he might be on the bench for a whole nother quarter until the middle of the 2nd quarter.
Right.
And 6 times this year, Luke Walton has set Lonzo Ball on the bench for the entire 4th quarter. Is that fair? Is that right to the number 2 pick in the draft, as he just barely has turned 20 years of age? Is that the right way to let him grow on a young team? Well, I think not. So I don't like it. And I've said that several times.
Okay.
And obviously, the father really, really doesn't like it. So you know what just happened? The father just called for Luke Walton's job, and we're not quite to halfway through Lonzo's rookie season, right? We're barely into January. We still got a long way to go, and he is calling for this coach's job. Well, this makes it virtually impossible for the kid to operate. So I already said, he came into this game with the biggest target painted on his back by his father of any rookie in any sport ever, where night after night, basically LaVar, the father, is calling out star and all-star point guards who are going to take it out on Lonzo to take it out on LaVar. So he's making it virtually impossible for his son to succeed. And I thought Lonzo came out last night with the weight of the NBA world on his shoulders, tight and tentative. Well, is that pretty predictable? Yeah, because the father just called for the coach's job. And at the shoot-around, we just saw the sound from Lonzo, and he's kind of mealy-mouthed about it. Well, that's his opinion. Well, what's your opinion?
Exactly.
When are you going to have an opinion? When are you going to take a stand?
It's hard for me to believe, Skip, that he was this outspoken. LaVar was this outspoken in high school, this outspoken in the NBA, but he was quiet in college.
Yeah.
Now, let's say for the sake of argument, he was quiet in college. You know why, Skip? LaVar Ball, Lonzo was the best player on UCLA. Many thought he was the best player in college. So there was nothing to talk about. He's not even close to being the best player on the Lakers. We know he's nowhere in hell the best player in the NBA. So now LaVar has to talk him up. Skip, and they asked Lonzo, well, that's his opinion. I can't tell him what to say. Bull jive, you can't. Because let me tell you a story. I had a mom who used to come to my game, and she up there, oh, he's sorry. He can't catch it. He can't do that. You know what I did? When we got home, I said, Mom, look here. You talking about those guys that are sorry and can't catch and can't do this? Those are my teammates. When you go back to Chicago, I got to deal with them. Now, I will not hear this anymore. Guess what? My mom up in the stand clapping and cheering. Go ahead, you get them, baby. Yeah, exactly. So don't tell me what you can't do.
Yep, I agree.
Because at the end of the day, when you home or you in Lithuania, I go to practice with these guys. They looking at me side out for something you said.
That is
because
correct.
they think I told you something.